our Montrose studios. This is the Sunday edition. Thank you for joining us.
Here are the leading stories tonight. President Emmerson Mnangagwa calls on nation to shun division and discord.
All is set for the 65th edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair.
And in our science and technology feature, young scientific minds at the cusp of a new major breakthrough in research for new compounds for malaria treatment.
And in sports buzz, Harare Giants Caps United succumb to their 5th defeat this season.
So those were our headlines, and we now give you the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has called on the nation to shun division and discord, saying the country should strive towards working towards unity to propel social development.
President Mnangagwa said this during a speech read on his behalf by Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Daniel Garwe, at the Zion Christian Church Easter service in Masvingo this Sunday. We get more from Bruce Chawanda.
As Christians across the globe converge at different shrines to celebrate the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, it was the same script at the Zion Christian Church, ZCC, Mbungo Estates in Masvingo Province this Sunday. The gathering attracted thousands of people, including international visitors, who converged at the estate for the annual Christian gathering. A speech read on behalf of President Emmerson Mnangagwa by the Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Daniel Garwe, highlighted the importance of peace in Zimbabwe and the region at large.
We are one people, one Zimbabwe. Nothing and no one must be allowed to sow seeds of division and disunity or confusion among us. Muna Johani 13, verse 34, Kristu akati, ndinokupai murayiro mutsva wokuti mudanane sezvandakakudane imi nemi mudananewo saizvozvo. We are instructed to love one another, even as Jesus loved us. Mwari werugare anoda kuti tirarame murudo. We pray for peace to prevail in our SADC region and throughout our continent and the world, where people are experiencing conflict, displacement, insecurity and instability.
The need for the nation to uphold unity to foster socio-economic development was emphasized.
Unity among God's people, where individuals or groups come together with a shared purpose and common goals, is a powerful force. It strengthens our collective will and it transforms groups of individuals into engine rooms of greater success and development within families, communities, and the nation as a whole. Let us therefore pursue unity that knows no boundaries, religion, tribe, race, color, age, or geography. I urge the nation and church in particular to recognize and harness the individual and collective capacities we have to propel the socio-economic development, modernization, and industrialization of our country.
Congregates were reminded to take a leaf from the book of Matthew, which emphasized the importance of love, unity, and forgiveness.
Easter is not only a celebration of Christ's victory over death, but a constant reminder of the call to be peacemakers. Unity, love, forgiveness are powerful instruments which break down all barriers. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 9, the Bible says, and I quote, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." End of quote. This highlights that it is critically important for our lives to reflect God's character that is pleasing to Him. Let us practice kindness, mindful of the fact that every act of love and forgiveness is a step towards consolidating our national peace and unity.
The Easter conference was punctuated by displays by congregates, schools, and the elderly. His Grace Bishop Nehemiah Mtendi's dances captivated thousands who gathered at the Mbungo Estate in Masvingo to celebrate one of the important events on the Christian calendar. Bruce Chawanda, CBC News, Masvingo.
The church says it recognizes the efforts being done by the government towards improving livelihoods, reinforcing commitment to continue advancing unity of purpose and peace amongst citizens.
It was a memorable day for hundreds of thousands of people who gathered at Mbungo Estates for the Easter Sunday celebrations. It all started with the grand entrance of the church leader, Bishop Nehemiah Mutendi, accompanied by the brass band. The crowd was treated to unique dances and musical displays from ZCC brass band groups drawn from different countries. This year's displays were unique as they were blended with cultural dances of countries represented. In his address, Bishop Mutendi said the resurrection of Christ also symbolizes unity, hope and righteousness.
Ungatuka seiko sisina kutukwa na Mwari. Tingatsamwire seiko sisina kutsamwirwa na Mwari. Zimbabwe is not cursed, it is chosen and blessed. Tumazion, what is your assignment today? I heard the president speak to the Zimbabweans about the assignment to build and continue to rebuild, even under sanctions. To go, when Jesus rose, he gave Mary a mission. To Mary, he said, Kurumiza, hurry up, go and call them. To us, he says the same. Go quickly, go with the power, go with the purpose.
Government applauded the role that the ZCC Church is playing towards socio-economic transformation of communities.
On behalf of Masvingo Province, I want to express my profound gratitude to churches, including the Zion Christian Church, who have prayed and interceded for our nation, and in particular for the successful milestones we have realized under your able leadership.
Nasta uya panapa kuzotsvaga runyararo kuti nyika yedu irambe yakatereka. Bishop, tinokutendai neminamato yamuri kuitira nyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Tinoziva kuti munyika munoitwa zvakawanda, asi vamwe hatingazivi kuti nyika itereke, nyika igadzikane, munyika muite peace, munotodawo munamato ine simba.
As the event came to an end, the ZCC Church proved that indigenous churches are in safe hands, given the commitment and determination shown by the young generation who attended the conference. Beyond its spiritual mission, the church has significantly contributed to national development through transformative projects in agriculture, education, health and tourism. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
Government has urged the Zimbabweans to guard against abuse of social media, which is now being used as a tool to promote discord within the country. Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Dr. Jennifer Muswere denounces the misuse of the digital space, saying the nation should not be swayed by selfish, unpatriotic elements. We get more in the following report.
As we continue to celebrate our national independence, utilizing the inclusive approach through decentralization and devolution of national events, leaving no one and no place behind, we must remain united against cyber terrorism and enemies of progress. We have a responsibility to build our country. Zimbabweans should utilize the internet for development. We should continue to ignore calls from unproductive charlatans and merchants of falsehoods who seek to reverse the gains of the liberation struggle through demonization of Zimbabwe's image, its people, and leadership, through misinformation and malice. As Zimbabweans, we are hardworking, enterprising, focused people who have a responsibility to develop our country. We fought, we won, we conquered, and now we must continue to work together to build our country.
Christian denominations gathered to observe Easter celebrations using the sacred occasion to call for peace, national unity and spiritual renewal across the country. And we get the details in the next report.
It was a vibrant and spirit-filled occasion as congregants from various Christian denominations came together at different venues to celebrate Easter.
So during the Easter we come together and we have our workshops. We have different speakers that give us words that are specifically for us, that protect us during our youth.
Chinhu chinotipa zvirangaridzo, chinhu chinotipa upenyu, chinhu chinotimusiridza as a continent, as a country.
Mucherechedzo uyu wakakosha kuti tinenge tichipemberera kufa kwaJesu nekumuka kwake. Youth ndo ari kutungamirira program yedu iri pano, tichivakurudzira kuti ndo vanenge vachitungamirira zvese uye kuti ramangwana ravo riri muna Jesu Kristu. Kana vasina Ishe Jesu Kristu mukati meupenyu hwavo, havana chakati mbii chavanogona kuumba.
For many, Easter is not only a moment of deep reflection and gratitude, but also a season of renewal, unity and spiritual awakening.
Ukaverenga Bible shoko la Mwari kuna Zakaria 2 ukaverenga uchibva pa 6 inotaura kuti Mwari vanotarisa obva vaona nyika isina kumbira zvakanaka, yobva anzwa kurwadziwa nekuda kwemunhu.
Jesus Christ is the love of God to the world. He is the unifier. I'm so happy that our government talks about unity, like in 22, on the 22nd of December, we celebrate the unity of Zimbabweans. And that can be cemented by observing what Jesus Christ taught us in this world.
Easter celebrations are held annually across the globe to commemorate the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
In a related update, scores of congregants gathered in Murewa this Saturday for the Easter commemorations, which also coincided with the formal establishment of the Global Methodist Church.
Following the departure of conservative figures and members from the United Methodist Church over a doctrinal disagreement on homosexuality, a substantial number participated in this Easter event to establish the Global Methodist Church in Zimbabwe. Reverend Forbes Matonga has been seconded to lead the church on an interim basis, awaiting formal proceedings.
Saka izvozvo as we speak, kuri kusumuka church iri traditional inonzi Global Methodist Church. Saka Bishop John Pena vachaya muno muna August constitute the first annual conference.
This development has been met with widespread approval from the traditional leaders and the general populace.
The Global Methodist Church vatibatsiridza vatifukidza noti nesu madzimambo tinoramba tsika yatisingazivi kunyika yekwedu kunoku. Tikuda vanhu vanobuda pachena kutaudza zita rechitema kuti ichi chitema ndokuti tikwanise kuenda kudenga. Hatichisiri zvokunyengererana kudai.
Tsika dzedu nemagariro takangokura tichingoziva isu kuti murume mukadzi, musikana mukomana zvakagara zvakadaro ndo kumasikirwo atakaita. Zvimwe zvatinenge takuda kuunzirwa zvinenge zvine kakuwandirana mukati kwete.
Ndofunga chiitiko chaitika pano chabuda pachena pasi rino kuti tsvina yakadai haitambirike. Chinonzi mhuri ndibaba naamai. Saka zvinhu zvabatsira tsika nemagariro edu.
Despite the official opposition of the UMC General Conference, the Zimbabwean branch has explicitly distanced itself from the stance which is supporting homosexuality. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News.
Zimbabwe has registered huge milestones in the infrastructure sector for the past 45 years with the construction of water bodies, road infrastructure and schools for improved education, transforming many lives.
45 years of self-actualization is how Zimbabwe can be described amid various government initiatives to develop the country and make people enjoy the fruits of independence. Under the First Republic, Zimbabwe came up with school models across the country to ensure that people have access to education in every corner of the country by bringing schools closer to the people. This saw the construction of schools and clinics across the country, ensuring that services are accessible by all and sundry, but most of these infrastructure projects were built by foreigners. Fast forward to the Second Republic, infrastructure development has remained a key priority. The idea of easing traffic in Harare gave birth to construction works at Mbudzi Interchange. A humongous project designed and constructed by locals cements the country's education sector as superior within the continent. It has become one of the flagship projects of the Second Republic and is touted as the biggest traffic interchange in SADC region outside South Africa, with 15 bridges, 1.8 cubic meters of gravel for roadworks, street lighting, 2,500 square meters of reinforced earth vertical retaining walls, 19.3 kilometer length of roadways, loops and ramps. More than 1,400 jobs have been created, making it one of the biggest projects by government after Tokwe Mkosi in Masvingo, Parliament Building in Mount Upton, and the Robert Mugabe International Airport Expansion Project in Harare. The interchange lies on yet another signature project of the Second Republic, the 584-kilometer Bide Bridge Masvingo-Harare Highway, which was done by local contractors. As Zimbabwe commemorates 45th independence, it is the commitment of government towards empowering local companies and individuals through job creation that fulfills the objectives of the liberation struggle. This year's independence is being celebrated under the theme Zim 845 Devolve and Develop Together Towards Vision 2030. Bruce Jawanda, ZBC News, Harare.
On that note, we cross over to our Montreal studios where Marie Queen Lovo is on standby with more. Good evening, Mary, and it's over to you.
Good evening to you, Tanaka, and good evening to the viewers at home. All is set for the 65th edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair ZITF, with the local and international visitors already on the ground for the overly subscribed trade showcase.
It is a hive of activity at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center, where stand designers are doing final touches in preparation of the trade showcase, which kicks off tomorrow. Running under the theme Industrialization, Crafting and Integrated Economic Landscape, this year's edition promises to be bigger and better, as exhibitors are working tirelessly to make sure their stands are showstoppers.
Most of the exhibitors are now upping up the game. And if you look at the stands, although they are still under construction, but there is evidence that the competition is very tight in terms of the stands this year.
With close to 600 direct exhibitors from over 20 countries having registered participation for the trade showcase being hosted in Bulawayo, local businesses are excited for networking opportunities said to be availed by the 65th edition of the country's biggest exhibition and fair.
Exciting time for Bulawayo, for Zimbabwe, and for us as small businesses. We enjoy coming here, we showcase what Zimbabwe has, and all we do here is really to say to people, come and support, because it's exciting, still a lot of stuff going on, but I can tell you, tomorrow we'll be back on. It will be like nothing ever happened. It will be all very perfect. We are excited.
We can't wait to meet with other stakeholders, to engage, to exchange. This is my first time kuva pano, so I think these 6 days tichange tine mufaro mukuru tichionawo ZITF yedu.
This year's edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair will run for 6 days, and it will be officially opened by the President of Mozambique, His Excellency Daniel Chapo. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The business community in Penalonga, Manicaland province will soon breathe a huge sigh of relief as authorities have moved in to repair the Tsingwe St. Augustine's High School bridge that was damaged 3 weeks ago.
Tsingwe St. Augustine's High School bridge, constructed many years ago, is the nerve center of economic activities for Tsingwe residents and mines activities on both sides of the bridge. Business in the area was hugely affected as vehicles traveled many kilometers along alternative routes to reach their destination.
The bridge rakakoshera munhu wese kubva kwaGaveni Old West Tsingwe rechiaccommodate kupfura vanhu vakawandisa. Saka bridge rara kumeka machallenges akawanda ekuti atisingachakwanisi kupfurapo.
bridge tasingatarisiri kuti richasvika nguva dzinedzi ragadzirirwa asi tiri kuona kuti MP vamiramira.
Bridge riro rashata zveshuwawo asi nguva diki taona bridge rakugadzirwa vanhu vanga kuti tambudzika tofamba nepi marudi tara kuna noko West dzimwe mota dzasingachakwanisi kufamba nepanapa asi tiri kuona nguva diki bridge ratogadzirwa hada kutenda Second Republic naminister wedu.
Manicaland Roads Construction Engineer Patrick Muropa says the road will be open for public use after a duration of 10 days, revealing plans to construct a bigger bridge along the same route, which also links St. Augustine's High School.
Rakura bridge redu, saka basa redu ratanga zuva ranhasi. Tichari pamazuva 10 ekuti concrete yedu inatsooma zvakanaka.
Mutasa South Legislator Advocate Mishek Mugadza, who is also the Manicaland Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, also reviewed the decision to construct a bigger bridge soon after the repairing of the old bridge.
Nyaya iri pano ndeyekuti bridge riri kugadzirwa pano iri isusu takaisa conclusion yekuti harizi iro bridge ratichada kuti rizenge richishanda pano. Iri rakuva a temporary bridge. Otherwise pa next ne bridge rino takuvaka a 4-way bridge rinopesanwa.
Meanwhile, major road construction works in the province are currently taking place along Bechnaf-Murambinda Road as well as Mount Selinda Road as government forges ahead with its strides to improve road network within Manicaland province. Kenya Sifuje, ZBC News, Mutasa.
And in I'm an African segment, there are several African icons who have excelled in various disciplines. In I'm African feature segment, Anashe Murombedzi draws attention to Zimbabwe's late national hero, Dr. Joshua Malinga, who did not only fight for recognition of people with disability, but also for the group to fully enjoy the fruits of independence.
With a life marked by both the challenges and triumphs, Dr. Joshua Malinga's unwavering determination and relenting passion for justice inspired a generation of Zimbabweans and beyond. Malinga's journey began in rural Philabusi, Matabeleland South Province, where he was born on the 20th of April 1944. At the tender age of 2, his life took a dramatic turn when he contracted polio, leaving him with a physical disability that would shape his destiny. Yet, Dr. Malinga refused to be defined by his disability, instead using it as a catalyst for the advocacy for the rights of people with disabilities. As a young man, Dr. Malinga attended school and learned a craft as a cobbler at Jairus Jiri Center in Blayo. This foundation would serve him well in his future endeavors as he became a vocal advocate for the rights and interests of people with disabilities in Zimbabwe and beyond. Dr. Malinga's entry into politics was sparked by the injustice and oppression faced by black people under the colonial regime. He joined the nationalist movement, becoming an activist for the liberation struggle, and after independence, he rose through the ranks of ZANU-PF to become a Central Committee and Politburo member. Throughout his illustrious career, Dr. Malinga was a champion of disability rights, becoming the founding member of the National Council of Disabled Persons of Zimbabwe in 1975 and serving as the world president of Disabled People's International DPI. He played a pivotal role in shaping government policies and programs that addressed the needs and challenges of people with disabilities, and his legacy continues to inspire and empower individuals with disabilities to this day. Having served as the chairperson of the National Disability Board, Dr. Malinga also worked tirelessly during the constitution-making process by mobilizing disability organizations which went around the country collecting views from the disability constituency and other stakeholders. The views from the disability sector led to a constitutional provision for the reservation of 2 senatorial positions for people with disabilities. His efforts did not go unnoticed after President Emmerson Mnangagwa appointed him advisor on disability issues in the office of the President and Cabinet. Dr. Malinga died on the 8th of September 2023 at the age of 79 and was declared a national hero. During Dr. Malinga's burial speech, President Emmerson Mnangagwa hailed the national hero for his distinguished role in the liberation struggle, the development of the nation, and the promotion of disability rights. As we reflect on Malinga's remarkable life and achievements, we are reminded of the power of resilience, determination, and advocacy. His story serves as a testament to the impact one individual can have on the lives of others, and his legacy will continue to inspire generations to come.
And with that report, a Sunday edition takes a short break, and thereafter our team at Pokeshill will finish off with the rest of the bulletin. Good evening.
If you drink, be responsible.
Shumba Plus Dust, the extra strong brain protector. More power for less money.
Now this is banking redefined. Deposits? Done. Withdrawals? Easy. All in one smooth move. Sleek. Chic. Always on. Your new Stanbic Bank ATM is here. Withdraw USD cash anytime, any day using any Visa or MasterCard at our new Zimre Park ATM located at Puma Service Station, Zimre Park Turnoff. You can also deposit USD cash into any Stanbic Bank account. No more queues or inconvenient opening hours. Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme. Speed. It thrills. But it kills. Obey traffic laws and drive within set limits. This message is brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council Zimbabwe. Safety first. There is no second chance.
Welcome back. You're still watching Sunday Edition. Thank you for joining us. We might have wanted to ask, how did you celebrate Easter today? And usually it is signified by the resurrection of Jesus Christ and showing Christ on the cross, in as much as many videos were trending of the purported Christ falling. Now, based on churches, churches have always been a place for spiritual connection, conviction, and religious practices. However, some churches around the world are shrouded in controversial practices. And I'll listen to that feature today. Manicaland South Bureau Chief Providence Marinelli explores symbolism of colorful flags at some and apostolic sects. Let's get more.
As we were driving to the hills that house the Kwanda Town's water reservoir, we came across a place that stood as a serene place that evoked a sense of intrigue, secrecy, and unexplainable wonder stood before our eyes. The air that surrounded the area felt thick with secrets, charged with an unseen energy. The gates that made the area were obscure, and its true nature or purpose was covered in mystery that left us pondering for answers. What stood out most were the 4 flags embroidered with big stars that were forever flying, all in their different bright colors. A few meters away stood a pillar of stones with a big clay pot on top that can fit a human body. Big red and white cloth made the wall around the place, with ashes sprinkled around the area that made the entrance to the shrine. We were told that this was the shrine of a Joan Masowenyenya Zenomwe, popularly known as Ngochukum.
Mureza we red unenge uchikarira hondo, mhepo nezvese zvinobaya. Neno ndinozvinzwa zvichinzi vanhu vengotsvuku vanouraya vanhu, vanoita mabacks to sender. Handiziwe kuti zvofamba sei.
Imbatho yami leyi ngibana nxa ngigqokile icho ukukhulula impilo ezabantu. Ingilosi eyayehla phezulu kwenyama leyi yayehla isithi mina ngize ngomnotho. Ingilosi yami eyakukhalayo ukubani ibuye izongcina phakathi komzimba wami yakhala ibuye yehla ngelembu leli green, kuthi ukubana
It is not only the flags and colorful garments that are surprising to many, but also the practices. Male figures at the shrine took their time to explain.
Nedambudziko rake mukati mechechi unonamatiro ati hatitauri zita remunhu. Isi tinenge tichinamata kuti dambudziko remunhu ripere. Iye Mwari kana ndiye anojaja kuti kune iye akakanganisira iyeyi. Iye ndiye anojaja Mwari kuti unoita sei.
Sembatho simhlophe sikhala usizi phezu kwempilo yomuntu.
In the world of spirituality, conviction and religion, many stories come. Stories of prophets walking in fire and others wielding the power to kill someone by merely poking on their picture on a mirror have been told. Whether these stories are true, we will never know, but one thing for sure is that religion has always played a significant role in human civilization, shaping traditions and ways of life. Providence Maranelli, ZPC News, Gwanda.
From our This and That feature, we take a look at our Science and Technology feature, where we bring you a story of hope, where young scientific minds in local tertiary institutions are at the cusp of a major breakthrough in the research for new compounds for malaria treatment.
Innovators at Midland State University have achieved a significant breakthrough in malaria research through identifying new treatment compounds. Blessed Mazarura's work, focusing on novel compounds for treatment, has shown remarkable success in preliminary studies that could prove critical in the fight against malaria.
And my project focuses on identification of compounds that can be developed into anti-malarial drugs. So we are doing this because malaria continues to claim a devastating number of lives. For example, in 2023 alone, there were 249 million cases that resulted in 608,000 deaths. So we are leveraging computer-aided drug discovery tools to identify, synthesize, and experimentally validate compounds. Right now, we have sent our compounds for biological assays, and we are pleased to say we have obtained positive results, and we are now working on optimizing these compounds before we take them to the next stage, which are preclinicals and clinical trials.
His approach is different from current malaria treatments that often face resistance.
Most of drugs that are being used against malaria are being resisted with strains of Plasmodium falciparum. So my compounds target a novel and a unique protein, which is called Plasmodium falciparum heat shock protein center 1, which is expressed throughout the life cycle of the parasite.
The research offers hope in the ongoing fight against malaria, as this innovative approach targets a fundamental aspect of the parasite's biology and could pave the way for a new generation of more effective malarial drugs. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News.
That's a look at our Sunbiz. And now in sports buzz, Harare Giants Caps United succumbed to their fifth defeat of the season after losing to Bikita Minerals in a Castle Lager Premier Soccer match played at Rufaro Stadium. This Sunday we shall be giving you sport and more as we progress, but now we take a break.
The Minister of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs, Honorable Senator M. Mavunga, Deputy Minister, Honorable Senator H. Moyo, Permanent Secretary, Mr. A.T. Chikondo, Chief Directors, Commissioners, Ministry staff, and the entire veterans of the Liberation Struggle community join the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, in the nation at large in celebrating Independence Day. As we celebrate 45 years of independence under the theme Zim at 45, Devolve and Develop Together towards Vision 2030, we reflect on the remarkable journey that has shaped Zimbabwe into the proud and sovereign nation it is today. The Ministry of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs takes this momentous occasion to celebrate the hard-won independence through the supreme sacrifice of our gallant sons and daughters that paved the way for the transformation of the lives of the people of this great nation. As we celebrate Zim at 45, Let us honor the legacy of our heroes and heroines by working together towards a prosperous Zimbabwe. Through devolution and inclusive development, we are building a future where the contributions of our veterans of the liberation struggle are fully recognized and rewarded. The ministry remains steadfast in its commitment to support the cause and welfare of the veterans of the liberation struggle community, ensuring that their sacrifices translate into a brighter as well as prosperous and empowered future. Long live the spirit of independence. Long live Zimbabwe.
Tel1 Broadband brings you the 100 Days to Win Big promotion. Buy your Tel1 Broadband voucher worth $30 or more at any Pick n Pay store nationwide and unlock the chance to win 50 gigabytes of data every day. Yes, you heard right. Each and every day. For the next 100 days, each TM Pick n Pay branch countrywide will select a winner, and it could be you. Buy your Tel1 Broadband bundle today at your nearest Pick n Pay and make every day a happy one. Hashtag 100 Happy Days to Win Big. The 2025 terms and conditions apply. Tel1, the future is better together.
I love my boys. In the holidays, they sometimes spend their whole day playing soccer. They are my angels. I don't know why people in this area are always telling lies about them. But no matter what happens, I will always be there for them. That's what mums are for. New Aura Beauty Soap. For skin that glows. From the House of Zimgold.
Just over 6 decades ago, a bold idea took root to create a modest platform for local businesses to showcase their offerings. Over time, that vision expanded, evolving with the changing tides of commerce and culture. Today, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair is a premier platform for trade, investment, and opportunity, connecting people, businesses, industries, and governments from across the globe. It's a space where ideas flourish, partnerships are forged, and the future is shaped. ZITF has driven industrialization, sparked innovation, and fueled growth. Now, as we mark 65 years, the legacy continues. Stronger, more connected, and more determined to shape a prosperous future for all. Join us in celebrating the Blue Sapphire edition of ZITF, taking place from the 21st to the 26th of April 2025 in Malaria. ZITF 2025, Industrialization, crafting an integrated economic landscape.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Sunday edition. Thank you for staying with us. Before we go on to sport, we take a look at what is happening in business. In Sunbiz tonight, the country is witnessing a steady growth of the electric vehicle market attributed to government's policies such as slashing customs duty on electric vehicle imports as a key measure to promote wider usage. We get more in the following report.
Two leading parastatals, the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority ZERA and government transport fleet operator CMED, started promoting the use of electric vehicles, with the latter having included dozens of such vehicles on its fleet, while government has slashed the duty on EV imports in a boost for the adoption of these vehicles. A survey by the ZBC News crew showed that the market is steadily growing in Zimbabwe, with a local dealership in Harare that sells a combination of hybrid and electric vehicles, saying, while there is still a lot of skepticism around EVs, the market is slowly warming up to these models.
All car technology is always improving. So even if you look at traditional cars, something is constantly improving. Engines are becoming smaller and producing more power and becoming more efficient and have less emissions. But the perfect space that has been adopted is the hybrid electric and full electric space. This is just a newer version of what's available to the car industry and a step forward. So what you find is you're maximizing the things you like more about the vehicle, and you're maximizing what you want, the savings and the ease of maintenance. That's what these cars are achieving right now.
Tanaka Kutama, who has over the years lobbied extensively for policy framework that promotes the use of EVs, says government has so far shown huge interest in aiding their wider usage.
From January up to now, we've had about 10,000 hybrid that has been imported by Zimbabweans and also locally. So the uptick is quite increasing. I think more awareness now needs to be done on how to maintain and service the vehicles and also understand the technology. Currently, yes, they're working with a policy. We hope that before end of this year it will be launched. We can say the first aspects of the policy is that they've agreed to reduce the duties. The second aspect, obviously, they are encouraging people to buy hybrid vehicles. There's more of media now being involved. Even Zera now, they've acquired another electric vehicle as well. So meaning there's government support, CMED, they've bought also electric vehicles.
In his 2025 budget statement, Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthunziwe, reduced the customs duty on EV imports by 15% to 25% and also introduced the rebates on charging stations as a way to boost this sector. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
From Sunbiz, we shift our focus to sport, where Harare Giants Caps United succumbed to their 5th defeat of the season after losing to Bikita Minerals in a Castle Lager Premier Soccer match played at Rufaro Stadium this Sunday.
The Green Machine's poor start to the season continued again this weekend as the 5-time Premier Soccer League champions were left licking wounds at home by Bikita Minerals. Caps United, who currently lie in the drop zone with just a single win and a draw, have failed to collect points in their last 4 matches. Playing at their home arena, Rufaro Stadium, the match was poorly attended, a sign that the fans are frustrated with the form of one of the big 3 clubs in the country. After a decent showing, the Lloyd Chitembe coached side failed to find their touch in the final third, which cost them as Innocent Masiwa scored a last-minute goal to punish the Green Machine. While the Green Machine struggles continue, fellow strugglers Triangle United bagged their first victory of the season after beating Yada by a single goal. The victory took Triangle to 4 points, level with Caps United, but they still anger the standings due to an inferior goal difference. At Sakova Stadium, Yebet Marua coached Tewan recorded a massive comeback, rising from 2-0 down to force a 2-0 draw against Manika Diamonds. On Matchday 7 action continues this Monday with Ngoni Stadium hosting its first PSL match when Moz host Dynamos, 2015 champions, Chicken Inn date 2024 champions, Simba Bora at Luveve Stadium. 2 more blockbusters are on the cards as Scotland FC face off with FC Platinum for the first time at Rufaro Stadium, while Bulawayo Giants, Highlanders, Beitongezi at Baobab Stadium. New Boys Kwekwe United round off the day's action as they host Boogie side Rentals at Bata Stadium. Reinout Ngwarati, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe rugby national teams had a tough outing this Saturday as both the under-20 and the women's team recorded twin defeats in their continental outings. We get more in the following report.
The 2 rugby national teams were unsuccessful on the field this Saturday as they both succumbed to defeats on the continental stage, with the Junior Seabos falling prey to Namibia, losing 41-22 at Old Dararian Sports Club, while the Lady Seabos were second best in a 63-7 loss to the Lady Cranes of Uganda in Cote d'Ivoire. On home soil, the Junior Seabos were handed a tough task in their 2025 Rugby Africa Bates Cup suite after losing their opening match to regional rivals Namibia on the day that the defending champions, Kenya, stepped on the pedal. The lads had a slow start, being made to trail 5-27 at the break before launching an explosive comeback in the second half, scoring 3 unconverted tries to cut the deficit to 22-27. The Namibians, however, found their rhythm in the closing stages, scoring 2 more tries to bag the match, which ended 41-22 in favor of Namibia, who will date title holders Kenya under-20 in their second match on Wednesday. The Junior Seabos will clash with Tunisia on the same day, seeking a victory to keep their title hopes alive. It will not be an easy task as Tunisia are also seeking a rebound after losing to Kenya 29-21 in their first match this Saturday at the same venue. Reinout Ngwarati, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe cricket team, the Chevrons, have made a huge statement of intent as they put up a spectacular performance in the first of 2 test matches against Bangladesh, which kicked off this Sunday.
Openers Ben Karan and Brian Bennett have set the tone for Zimbabwe's first innings in the first test match against Bangladesh after seeing off day one unbeaten on 67 runs at Sylhet International Cricket Stadium in Bangladesh this Sunday. The Chevrons took advantage of the favourable conditions at Sylhet to dominate the first day of the opening test against Bangladesh despite losing the toss. Brian Bennett and Ben Karan were solid with the bait for the Chevrons, putting on an unbeaten 67-run opening stand for the visitors to set up a solid base for Zimbabwe's first innings in the first of two test matches against the Tigers. Bennett was most aggressive in that charge, scoring a quick-fire 40 runs from just 37 deliveries, while Ben Karan scored a steady 17 from 49 balls as Zimbabwe eyes overtaking Bangladesh's score of 191 runs to take full control of the match. While Karan and Bennett were phenomenal with the bait, the bowlers did the bulk of the enterprise on day one as they ripped the Tigers apart in thrilling fashion to restrict the worst to under 200 runs. The bowlers put in a show, bowling in good areas to give the Chevrons the advantage on the opening day. Wellington Masakaza and Blessing Muzarabani led the attack for the Chevrons, claiming 3 scalps apiece, while the pair of Victor Nyauchi and Wesley Madevere claimed a pair of wickets to mastermind Bangladesh's first innings demise. Bangladesh, Moni Mohang and the skipper Najmul Hossain Shanto tried to wedge some resistance to Zimbabwe's bowling attack, but their efforts were not enough to take the Tigers past 200 runs. The Tigers could only settle for 191 runs in their innings, and in response, the Chevrons put on 67 runs on the board before stumps were called, still trailing Bangladesh's first innings score by 124 runs. Reynold Ngwarati, ZBC News, Harare.
For more information, do remember to visit our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. Anytime, any day, you can interact with us on our social media platforms, that is at ZBC News Online. Sunbiz takes a break, Sunday edition takes a break. Do stay with us for Showbiz.
The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Honorable N.M. Dlovu, Deputy Minister, Honorable R.I. Modi, Permanent Secretary, Dr. T.U. Wushe, Chief Directors, and the entire ministry staff joined the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the nation at large in commemorating the 45th Independence Day under the theme Devolve and Develop Together Towards Vision 2030. As we celebrate this milestone, the ministry reaffirms its unwavering commitment to fostering a conducive business environment for the growth of the manufacturing and commercial sectors through the implementation of the Zimbabwe Industrial Reconstruction and Growth Plan, ZRIGP. To buttress the implementation of the ZRIGP, the utilization of our resources and locally produced products is being promoted through the implementation of the Local Content Strategy. The continued implementation of the National Development Strategy 1 (NDS1) thematic area on moving the economy up the value chain and structural transformation has registered significant growth in the local production of sugar and dairy products. Progress has also been registered in the investments that have been made by local manufacturing companies in the provinces. At the same time, the ministry has capacitated consumer protection agencies to effectively carry out their mandate of enforcing regulations on protection of consumer rights and consumers' welfare. To date, through the whole of government approach, a total of 1,817 businesses have been inspected with 132 prosecutions, 200 compliance notices, and 2,950 units of different products having been seized and destroyed. In order to protect the gains of our hard-won independence, the ministry is also implementing economic empowerment programs through the revival of Community Share Ownership Trust, CSOTs, in the 8 rural provinces. The Ministry of Industry and Commerce extends gratitude to the private sector and all stakeholders for their contribution towards the growth and development of the manufacturing and commercial sectors of Zimbabwe. The ministry takes this opportunity to invite all businesses to participate at this year's Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZITF, in Bulawayo. Long live our independence. Happy Independence Day, Zimbabwe.
The 2025 edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZITF, is here. Bulawayo. Welcome alive from 21 to 26 April 2025 as the annual multinational expo takes center stage under the theme Industrialization, Crafting an Integrated Economic Landscape. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your brand. For exciting advertising packages on ZBC TV, ZBC Radio and digital platforms during ZITF Week, get in touch with ZBC Marketing on email marketing@zbc.co.zw or contact Robson Masunda on 0716 484 712 or Martha on 0719 593 532.
Just over 6 decades ago, a bold idea took root to create a modest platform for local businesses to showcase their offerings. Over time, that vision expanded, evolving with the changing tides of commerce and culture. Today,
the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair is a premier platform for trade, investment and opportunity, connecting people, businesses, industries and governments from across the globe. It's a space where ideas flourish, partnerships are forged, and the future is shaped. ZITF has driven industrialization, sparked innovation and fueled growth. Now, as we mark 65 years, the legacy continues. Stronger, more connected, and more determined to shape a prosperous future for all. Join us in celebrating the Blue Sapphire edition of ZITF taking place from the 21st to the 26th of April 2025 in Malaria. ZITF 2025, Industrialization, Crafting an Integrated Economic Landscape.
Every 18 April, Zimbabwe celebrates being a proud and sovereign nation whose identity was forged through the resilience and sacrifices of its people during and after the War of Liberation. As a sovereign and independent state, Zimbabwe is committed to self-reliance and dignified international engagement. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade reaffirms its commitment to advancing foreign policy goals that prioritize peaceful coexistence with all nations, promoting prosperity through appropriate trade policies while resisting economic and political cohesion. Zimbabwe upholds the principle of unity and sovereign equality of nations through the Southern African Development Community, SADC, the African Union, AU, and the United Nations, UN, among other international bodies. As a sovereign and independent state, Zimbabwe shall continue to protect its prosperity and sovereignty by positively engaging the international environment and advocate for policies that support the principle of peace and shared prosperity in the quest to provide its citizens with happy, prosperous, and fulfilling lives. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade congratulates His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the entire nation on the 45th Independence Anniversary. Congratulations, Makorokoto Amhlobi. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade for the integrity, dignity, and prosperity of Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Sunday edition. And now in showbiz, a versatile actor and comedian Charles Malume, popularly known as Maraba, who died this Saturday, has been described as an arts hero who made street theatre a popular art genre in the country. Let's get more.
Family and friends gathered in Epworth this Saturday to mourn Maraba, who was one of the finest theatre performers in the country and is among the pioneers of street theatre. Maraba, who had been ill for a while, succumbed to kidney complications this Saturday.
Ndakatrani pandogona kusvikaenda kuchipatara. The minister every month kuNewlands kuchipatara. Madhokota kuchipatara kuNewlands. Watoona kuti zvinhu zvaita sei zvarema because anga airwara neliver nemakidneys. So zvinhu zvake zvaita sei zvadhakwa. I'm admit of Newlands for minister Gomo. Up to now.
Fans and fellow artists described Maraba as a legend in the arts who entertained Zimbabwe and kept families glued to their screens with his humorous antics.
Indaka Maraba ndakashanda naye zvakawandisa. Ndini ndakamutraina. Kafupi ndakamutraina. Maraba nematambudziko muri Zimbabwe atisiya.
Vamwe maartists vakawanda tinosangana nemaproblems ekuti avabuditse zvinhu zvatinenge tichitarisira zvatinenge tataurirana nawo tanzwisisana kuti amana takuenda pakamera saka tiri kuda zvinhu zvakati. Maraba aitoita zvinhu zviri pamusoro kutowedzera pane zvatamupa zvacho zvichinosuta futi zvatiri kuda chaizvo.
Arts industry kumadrama tarasikirwa, tinongoti tarasikirwa negamba nekuti Maraba, tichitarisa Maraba nakapfupi vanhu vakagadzira mazita ekuti tinga act edu madrama tingaita se but atichakwanise kusvika level ravakagadzira.
Anga asingasarudze chero ukati nhasi Maraba ndoda kuti ukambaire uite unge benzi aita, ukati Maraba ndoda kuti uite unge sekuru aita.
Maraba will be remembered for his yesteryear productions including Diningwe Rinonaka Richakweva Rimwe and the notorious Kafupi, where he worked with Freddy Manjalima, popularly known as Kafupi. He is survived by 3 children. Maraba is expected to be buried this Monday in Epworth. Patience Nyakato, CBC News.
Maraba, muti una problem yekurembera kumuti. Whoa. Mira.
May his soul rest in peace. This weekend was a hive of activity with this year's Independence Gala held in Gokwe as one of the major highlights of the week. And we get the details in the upcoming report.
The gala, which saw a star-studded lineup of musicians performing, lived up to its billing. Among some of the electrifying performances were from musicians including Sulumani Chimbetu, Chief Wenje, Sanda Ndebele, Agatha Murutswa, Mark Ngwazi, Jazz Signal, and Muso 7, who proved they have the mettle to entertain. Elsewhere, Holy Ten mesmerized his fans in Harare Friday night when he unveiled his album, Raiwa Nangwarati. Felinandi proved their worth when she performed at Madada in Harare.
It was a hive of activity this weekend indeed. Coming up next, we take a look at what the weather looks like around the country.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Hope I find you well. With a bit of moisture over much of the country, giving us cloudy and cold conditions over the entire country as of this weekend, with rain and drizzle in most of the places. The highest for the past few days was about 21 millimeters over the north parts of the country. That's in Matabeleland North, where we had Wange recording about 21 millimeters, 15 into Binga. But however, we're expecting clearance as we get into the later parts of tomorrow, with the southern parts starting off that clearance. That's in areas such as Matabeleland South and Masvingo, and it should spread to the rest of the country overnight, making it cooler across board, But for much of tomorrow, we're still expecting a bit of cloudy conditions over the north, with moisture expected to drift in later on around Wednesday into Thursday over the western parts. So those attending ZITF, please carry an umbrella. That's towards the end of the week. But for tonight, we're expecting mild conditions across board with a bit of cooling over the main watershed. That's areas below 15 degrees there. But for tomorrow, we're expecting generally warm conditions across board, with even areas such as Malaria projecting much warmer conditions as we get into the later parts of the week. That's 28 and 27, 29 into the weekend over Bulawayo, whilst Matopo also has warmer conditions into the weekend next week. That's about more sunny breaks projected. For Malinga, we're expecting a bit of cloudiness here and there because of remnant moisture, but it should get warmer also as we get into the later parts of the week. Same for Gweru, we're expecting a warmer weekend next week. For Quick, we're expecting 30s and 29s next weekend, much warmer than it was this weekend. Same for Kadoma, we were expecting 29s from Tuesday into Wednesday, and for Hara, we're expecting mostly warm conditions for much of this week, with a few isolated showers over that northern part of the country. For Chinoi, we're expecting a bit of showery weather as well, but it should get warmer for next weekend. They're about Rupane, expecting 31s into the weekend, but a few cloudy breaks here and there with a bit of showery weather as well. Great Victoria Falls, the same with showery weather. Same for Kariba, we're expecting moisture to drift in around Tuesday and Wednesday. For Bindura, we're expecting more of the remnant moisture. Same for Marondera, we're expecting a few sunny breaks and a warmer weekend ahead. 27s projected there. For Nyanga, we're expecting much warmer than it was this weekend. That's all for our weather and focus on the places above. I'm James Goba Jr. for the Met Department.
Thank you very much, James Ngoma Jr., for taking us through the weather report and forecast for this week.
And that concludes Sunday edition for this week. But before we go, we leave you with our video of the week titled Nyika Yenu Ye Zimbabwe from Oliver Mtukudzi. Have a good night.
ndokukanganwa kwayakabva ikafumura zvindoera munyika yedu yezimbabwe nyika yedu yezimbabwe ndokukanganwa kwayakabva ikafumura zvindoera munyika yedu yezimbabwe nyika yedu yezimbabwe hatikanganwe varere mumasango vasina makuma vakamira nyika yavo iyi vakamira nyika yedu iyi.
a very good evening to you guys. I hope we find you well. Fire left, right, and center. Welcome to yet another edition of a very special edition of the Gospel Mix, the Easter Gospel Peak. Yeah, we've been doing this from Friday. Remember, Msio Friday, takakuigirai Pastor G, and Nezuro Saturday, takakuigirai mkomana wedu Tatenda Mahachi. Nasi tinongo mtakuna ndazakari, and indini wenye Apostle DJ on the mix. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to be having a special guest. I'll reveal just now. But book of Matthew chapter 28, the Bible says, and now after the Sabbath, towards the dawn of the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, and an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. And for fear of the gods, trembled and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has risen." My God. So today, Resurrection Sunday,